Hey everyone, it's Jim Cohn. Episode 13 of Circle of Willis is almost here. And when it gets here, I'll be talking with Nilanjana Dasgupta about her fascinating family history that for generations has combined science and social activism. Then we'll discuss her work on how to encourage women to stick with careers in the STEM professions. But for now, here's a quick preview.
We wanted to measure, does coming into a college environment where there are women in leadership change these women's implicit beliefs about gender and leadership? And does that change over time as a function of how long they are in college?
Yeah.
So we compared a women's college and a co-ed college, only women.
Yeah.
At time one, when they came into the college, the first month of college, there was no difference in gender stereotypes.
The first month, looking at the two different colleges.
Looking at the two different colleges.
Yeah.
So these are first-year students just walking into college.
Right.
The students at the co-ed college, their gender stereotypes went up. The kids at the women's college, their gender stereotype went down. But the reason I came upon the STEM work is because we found this weird effect that for students, for these women at the co-ed college, the more math and science courses they took, the stronger the gender stereotypes.
Wow.
And I thought, that's weird. That doesn't make any, why would that
Why
would that
a
be?
specific kind of course?
So then I looked at who was teaching those courses, and disproportionately their faculty in STEM courses were men. So then I thought, oh, this is interesting. So we put that in the paper, but then I was ruminating on it and thinking, if seeing male faculty, mostly male faculty, strengthens gender stereotypes, would that spill over and affect what they think that they can do themselves? And so I was thinking about that do our professors affect what we do? Does our similarity with them then bleed over into what we feel we can do? If we're very different from them, do we think that we can't do it? None of this showed up on our explicit measures. They only showed up on these IATs and when we did a frequency count of who their professors were by gender.
Wow.
So then I started
That's
thinking
incredible.
about stereotypes and how it might unknowingly affect the course of someone's selection of major, their self-efficacy, their motivation, their career trajectory, and so that's how it happened.
Already we're talking about, people talk about a lot, especially in social psychology. Yeah. They talk about this sort of, the putative or the theoretically relevant effect of cumulative small effects.
Yeah.
But what you're talking about is leading to a decision. You're talking about putting people on the trajectory down a decision tree.
Yes.
And each branch of that tree is a major effect.
Yeah. And that the person may be unaware.
They might tell themselves whatever, right?
I think their personal experience is that something like, my interest changed, or this is too theoretical, or whatever it is.
And did you ever talk to these students at any point to figure out what are they?
No, I wish I had. It's because this was not what we were after.
Yeah,
we were not looking at science and math, but we happened to measure what courses were they taking, who were their professors, what was the content of the courses. And it's only when we found this surprising effect that students who took more science and math showed stronger gender stereotypes at the co-ed college, not at the women's college. By that time, our study had long finished. We were in the middle of analyzing the data and writing the paper, and this was sort of an unexpected finding. It was not the central piece of our paper.
Yeah.
Then we realized, actually it's connected to the central thesis because it's these women who are more likely at the co-ed college to have male professors. The students who are taking social science classes, humanities classes, are more likely to have a mix of gender in terms of their faculty. But the students who are taking math, science, computer science had mostly male professors. And so this was sort of a side story illustrating who faculty are that students see in front of the class can affect their perceptions of who makes a good leader. But it was not connected to science and engineering.
And this was still at New School?
This was still at New School.
Yeah, wow.
But this was when the
This is the
idea,
seed.
this is the seed. This is the seed. And so this is
It's very exciting.
This is 2004.
Yeah.
So by now, I had just moved to UMass. I was thinking of writing a grant, and I had already decided that the grant had to do with something to do with essentially the malleability of implicit bias, but now applied to the self, not to perceptions of others, which had been my prior work.
Okay, that's all the preview you are going to get. There's plenty more where that came from, so look for episode 13 soon for the rest of my conversation with Nilanjana Dasgupta. And thanks to my friend Hal Movius for composing and performing this little tune we've got playing right here in the background that you are listening to right now with your ears. Thanks, Hallam.